Yeah, hey guys, this is Ian, and today we are looking at why you should write a book. This is part of our new platform community, coaching and community for authors and teachers and coaches, consultants, helpers, healers, anyone who has a inspired message that the world needs to hear. So for those of you who are new to this, my name is Ian. I run mindfulmarketplace.com. We have a really robust and quickly growing community of people who have a inspirational message. This is a mindfulness oriented marketing community. So we have all kinds of different people in the helping and healing spaces, as well as the entrepreneurial spaces, both of which I'm personally really invested in and interested in and really find meaningful in my own life. One of the things that we're really trying to help with we have a lot of people who want to self-publish. So they want to write a book, or they've written a book, they haven't published it yet, or they're in some variation of, or some position within that spectrum. So the good news is writing a book in 2017 or 2018, or even going back 3 or 4 years, is super duper easy. So there's really none of the conventional challenges that all of us faced a decade ago or 2 decades ago. There's not an authority figure that kind of gives us permission anymore to say your book or your message or your story is worthwhile. Any of us with a little bit of ambition and a little bit of motivation and the right information, or the right sort of strategy and templates and all that sort of stuff. Actually, I don't like the word templates when it comes to writing, because I think everyone ought to have their own muse, and everyone ought to have their own map to create something that is personally significant to them. But that said, there are some templatized ways of sort of structuring your content that lend themselves, to a more, to an easier journey in the self-publishing challenge. As you can tell, folks, I don't really script these things, so I'm just kind of shooting off the cuff here. So essentially what you're looking at here, for those of you who want to self-publish, is a new book that I have coming out. This is also a course that you're probably seeing on our Mindful Marketplace teaching platform, and it's Yes, You Should Write a Book. And here are a bunch of the new rules for folks who want to self-publish in 2017. And I'm just going to give you, when you're in the course itself and the community, we have a community here as well. You'll actually get access to a whole immersive experience, an interactive environment where you can share and ask questions and really get some great feedback in terms of getting yourself published in the next 90 days. But here are some of the rules anyway. I'm just going to go through some of them. You'll see this is my own outline, and this is what I recommend that all of you use as well. For those of you who are wondering what the program is that I'm using to outline this, it's called Workflowy. It is awesome. It's free. I actually pay for it, but it's free for, you don't really need to pay for it. And it's just a great way of getting your content structured in a pretty simple and sexy way. All right, so here are the rules, and I'm just going to articulate or communicate the bullet points rather than the deeper dives. As you can see in each one of these, there is a much deeper dive into each bullet point. But rule number one is teach, don't write. This is the most important rule to me. Teach, don't write. If you think of yourself as a writer and you're trying to be Hemingway, you're just not going to get anything done, right? So just teach. Think of yourself as someone who has a life experience and an empowering message to share, and that will free you up just to kind of relax and share that message rather than trying to make it, picture or pixel perfect. Rule number 2, ask empowering questions. All right. So ask empowering questions of yourself as well as of your content. Really, really super important. So I'll give you an example. And again, I don't want to really deep dive into all this, but what could go right? Right? What would make this fun? What would make this simple? What is my big picture perspective? All these sorts of things are ways in which I ask myself the kinds of questions that inspire me to want to offer my message to the world. What could go right? I mean, most folks don't ask that question. They'll ask even without asking what could go wrong. So people will think about that or ruminate about all the obstacles and the challenges. But very rarely do we say, what could go right? I mean, like if this book goes out into the world and does what I hope it does, how will my life change? What could go right? Could I get lots of new clients? Could, I get lots of emails from strangers that feel like they've been inspired by what I've written? I mean, all these things I find asking gives me a magical momentum to actually do the work that, don't if I don't actually ask myself those questions, I often find I put off, or I even subconsciously focus on the negatives of things that might go wrong. All right. So again, I'm going to try to keep this a little bit shorter. I know I'm going a little deeper than I had expected, but teach one thing, right? So don't data dump everything you know at once. Teach one thing at a time. Make people better. Rule number 4. How can you help me to live is what everyone wants to know when they're reading a book that is written by somebody who endeavors to teach something, right? So how can you help me to live? Begin with a win. Start by telling people what their lives are going to look like when your advice is actually actualized in their lives. All right. I'm going to skip this one here, this rule, because I don't think I included that. Rule number 6, use templates, right? And I provide a bunch of templates here, for writing a book quickly. And again, these are not meant to mute your own muse, or not meant to, tamp down your creativity. They're just meant to add structure to your content. All right, rule number 7, and again, these are sort of out of sequence. I know I have 12 rules here, and there's a bunch more below. But write when inspired. This is so important. Like, get yourself, the best inspirational content is written by people who are inspired. If you feel like, you're very drab about your message, that's going to come across in your message. In your writing. So get yourself stoked, drink a lot of coffee like I do, and write when inspired. All right. Short moments many times. Start small, but scale. Again, this sort of comes back to teach one thing at a time. And just keep yourself fiercely focused and on point when it comes to your content, right? So I'd rather see you write 7 short books than try to write one masterpiece that never sees the light of day. Repurpose like a rock star. Again, there are so many cool ways to revisit the same content in cool and creative ways. So something like this, which you're looking at, which is an outline, is now a video, right? So that's a repurposing of this content in a way that now this is going to live on YouTube. It's also going to be on a course as part of a course community. This outline could also become a book. It could become a webinar. It could also become a coaching offer. So I could turn these rules into something that is coachable. And everyone should look at all the various possible permutations for repurposing their content or your content in a skillful way. All right, the power of a platform, we're going to cover that. I have a platform that I want to encourage my audience to leverage. So I want you to, create courses that we can promote for you on mindfulmarketplace.com. That's my big vision, is to create a platform with hundreds of authors and teachers and trainers and coaches and consultants and inspirational architects, enlightened entrepreneurs, purpose-driven professionals. I want a platform of people who want to change the world with our work. And I want to use my own marketing bona fides to sort of build that and have you piggyback off of that in a way that also helps me and my business and my partners as well. All right. So rule number 12, the pursuit of perfection is the enemy of achievement. Again, I had a conversation with yesterday. No, actually, I didn't have a conversation with yesterday. I had a conversation with somebody yesterday who told me that they don't use YouTube. When I told them to use YouTube to build their audience, to build their platform, they said they couldn't do that because their partner in their business, wanted to make sure that they looked great, that they sounded great, that everything was perfect every time they put something out in the world, because in this person's words, and this is what he said, that if you use uhs or hums or stutters like I'm doing here, that is an indication that you don't know what you're talking about, and or that you're not confident enough, or you're not certain enough, or you're not ready enough to share, to teach, or to share a message in an authoritative way. I say that is complete and utter bullshit, and authenticity rocks, right? So being failable and being frail and being a human being is what people resonate with, or at least that's what I care most about. And, that's what I gravitate to. I don't want somebody who's scripted and who, is selling me something that is so well polished that I don't know whether underneath that there's any real wisdom to be found. So I don't care if I make a bunch of different, grammatical or, conversational mistakes as I'm reading this or as I'm speaking this. I don't care if this word is spelled wrong. And I don't care, these are my notes. And I don't care if people who watch this say, well, I don't know, I wanted to see something a little bit more, perfect, to dive in and learn more about this program or platform or content or community. So I recommend the same to you. This video that I'm doing, which is perfectly imperfect, will still generate clicks to my websites. People will join my community. People will become clients of mine by dint of having watched this. And if I spent the whole entire day trying to make this perfect, I would never get anything done, and neither will you. All right. So get rid of that, just disabuse yourself of the idea that perfection is something even worth striving for. All right. I'm not going to go through the rest of these, but getting accountable to somebody. I actually went back and made this rule number 1 for a reason. And the truth is that accountability is super important. Like going on Facebook and saying, I'm going to have a book done by XYZ date is super duper powerful, and it's motivating, because if people are paying attention and you don't get it done, then you look like a fool, or you look like you haven't followed through. And I know in my own life, there's nothing that bothers me more than making a public proclamation of some type and then not actually doing what I said I was going to do. So I recommend that, you either do this in a public forum that you're comfortable with, friends, family, Facebook, whatever, or there are, even if you're writing a book and, and you don't have an editor or a publisher or somebody who's really pushing you, to actually finish what you say, then go on one of these sites that has some sort of like punishment if you don't actually do what you said you were going to do. So you go, and I'll have a link to a couple of these. I don't really use them. I know people who do, but you can go to a site that, basically you have to post a project and a due date. And if you don't actually do what you said you were going to do, then you have to either, donate to a charity or do some sort of, thing that you said you would do if you don't actually follow through. So accountability is really an integral part of, I think, of being productive. And I find that I put a lot of pressure on myself, but I'll put more pressure on myself to actually get something done if I've told 100 people that it's coming. All right. So, maybe this ought to be rule number one: get accountable to somebody or some group or some public enterprise that is expecting you to actually do what you said. In this case, finishing your book. All right. So again, this is Ian. This is part of the platform um, coaching community. We have a free course as well as a premium, um, coaching environment for those who really want to build your platform in 2017, 2018, change your life, get your message out to the world, and really change the world with your words and your work. All right. If you're interested in that, I would love to have you join us. Feel free to ask me any questions you have below. And I look forward to working with you directly in the future. All right. Thanks so much. This is Ian, again, mindfulmarketplace.com and our platform program. Thanks so much.